All good to go.
All right. Hi,
We're back.
everyone. Welcome. We're back. This is Isomers TV. I'm your host, co-host, Manuela and Marcheggianni with Darius Majlessi from Isomers Skincare. Thank you for tuning in and for joining us. This is a live presentation. It will be recorded and then put up onto the social media feed so you can actually look it up. We want your comments and questions, please. That would be great too, because we could do, while we're live, we could be interactive as well, because we have a team of lovely people who are actually looking at the information there. So this is really, really great. Make sure to thumbs up, love, let us know the feedback. Today's conversation is going to be on spicules. Spicules is a novel ingredient being utilized in skincare technology now. We just launched our diamond peptide spicule peel, and we're going to do a deeper dive into what spicules are, because it's a really great, interesting new ingredient that is natural. It is something that is not an enzyme, it's not an acid. It's literally an entity that we can use on the skin to really help with the renewing and exfoliation of the skin and mimicking at home microneedling.
Right.
Let's take it away.
I really love this concept because, as Manuela said, it's mimicking microneedling, but in a much, much safer way. I'm not a crazy fan of microneedling for two specific reasons. Number one, the dimensions of the needles are a little bit, in my opinion, too long and too thick, and they penetrate way too much deeper into the skin. They cause bleeding. And then the second thing is that if the process of using it is not hygienic, if you're doing it at home without the assistance of an expert, an esthetician, or a skin expert, you may not properly disinfect the unit, and then you're going to cause an infection on your face. With this thing, all those problems are gone because the spicules are much smaller, they're safer. Then, in my opinion, they're potent because the number of spicules that go on a specific square centimeter or square inch of your face is substantially more than the number of needles that are in the microneedling. But they're smaller, they're sharper, and they are more effective in compressing it all together. That's basically what the spicules are. But let me try to explain what the sponge spicules are. So here we talk about sponge spicules, and now this is what nature has done. This is what sponges have done in nature as part of their evolution to protect themselves. These are sharp little needles on these species that helps protect them from predators. So this is a protection mechanism, a mechanical protection. The same way like roses, right?
Roses have thorns, right? And so that protects it. So that's, I think, a really good way of giving people a visual. Right. Roses have thorns. Sponges, different species of sponges have spicules. That's their thorn. So depending on the sponge species or whatever,
right, the characteristics of those thorns are the spicules are going to change. They're not all straight. People think that they're all just sharp, straight needles. No, they vary in forms during the processing of them, during the harvesting and processing of them, because they're micronized. Then we are mostly going to end up with this. Some of these other forms may be also present. So basically what is really important is that when you're looking at these different types of species of the sponges, if you can't read them, don't worry about it. We will be posting all of these. Yeah. But this is the two type of species that we use mostly. Some other companies may use other species. But look at the dimensions. 100 to 250 micrometers is the maximum length. And then the diameter is from 2 to 10 micrometers. So they're very small, very, very tiny. And this is why it's really important, because they can poke really tiny holes in your skin. And I'm going to explain that in a little bit more because I need the diagram of the skin. But on top of that, their composition is all natural, okay? So you're talking about silica, calcium carbonate, and magnesium. Those are the main composition of the skeleton of these microneedles. But there are some other micronutrients that we're going to get into that as well. Now, let's go and take a look at the structure of the skin.
Okay.
Now, this is what I want you to pay attention. I'm going to go back and forth a little bit. If you're talking about the epidermis, this is that top layer. I'm kind of peeling it here at this end, and these are the different substructures of the epidermis. And if you look at that, for the facial region, the thickness is between 50 to 120, okay? And then dermis goes from 1200 to 1800, okay, micrometers. Now, look at this, 100 to 250. So basically, if the sponges, if the spicules penetrate straight, at max they're gonna go is right here. And you have to remember, when you are making your formulations, these spicules are sitting in all different types of the angles and directions in the formulation. So when it goes on your face, some of them will be going perpendicular, some of them are gonna go into angles, right? Now, the ones in my opinion that are going from different angles in, mostly help with the mechanical exfoliation of your skin. It's going in between these layers and help the separation of those layers. But also the ones that go perpendicular in conjunction with the ones that are going in an angle, they help penetrating some of those key ingredients that you're using, that are in the formulation, or you're applying it shortly after using the spicules on your face. So you get many, many different benefits that I'm going to summarize for you here. Mm-hmm. You're getting mechanical exfoliation.
Great.
You're mimicking the microneedling. Now, microneedling and penetration of ingredients, don't confuse us, because one of the key things that microneedling helps the skin with is not just helping penetrating, but the trauma that it causes into the epidermal layers, and with microneedling it goes much deeper, it actually causes the skin to react in a positive way and start doing things a little bit more. The activity of the regeneration in the skin is going to increase.
Right.
That's really the function of the microneedling.
Microtrauma,
right.
microchannels, microexfoliation.
Better penetration. And now this is the part that a lot of people don't pay attention to, is actually what are these spicules are made of. So the component of them, we talked the calcium carbonate, magnesium carbonate, and silicone. But we also have strontium, potassium, and manganese on top of that. So all these micronutrients, we have formulations that we put some of these in the form of nutrients in the formulation as well. But look at it. Now we are also giving it to you in a different form of a natural application to your skin.
Right. So when the skin is looking at this and it's reading it, it's not really seeing this as so much of a foreign entity. It's almost a little bit of a supplement, because it's not just like a piece of wood.
I like that word, the supplement.
Yeah.
It is a supplement that actually helps the penetration of the other ingredients and helps support the micro exfoliation of your skin.
Right. So this is what makes it really, really exciting. So spicules, natural, derived from sponge. It is basically an element that we're taking, utilizing it in skincare to enhance the penetration of product, creating the microchannels, creating microexfoliation. Something that is really great for skin types that cannot use retinoids, cannot use acids. This is completely acid-free. It's also not an enzyme, right? So it's its own entity.
Right.
And it goes into your skin. You will feel it, absolutely. But it stays in your skin up to 72 hours. And this is one of the things that people talk about, the safety of it. If I put it on my skin, does it react with other ingredients? Can I put other ingredients on top? If I keep using it, does it layer in my skin? Let's talk about that.
Right. Okay, look, one of the things that I tried to show here, look at your skin cellular turnover. So first of all, it's not that your skin doesn't turn over and all of a sudden at day 21, it just flips. It's a continuous process, okay? So when we say 21 days, it means that on average, in the facial region, your skin will completely do one cycle. Like whatever was at the very bottom,
Comes
in
down.
21 days, it's gone. It's shedded out, okay? So when these spicules are going inside these layers, within 21 days, they're completely gone. But their effect in terms of the being able to make you give that sensation, it goes away after 3 days because these layers are continuously moving up. It's not static, it's dynamic, okay? So this is very important. Having said that, you have to test it on your skin. You have to make sure that your skin is comfortable with it. The dosage that you put on your skin, don't think more is better or more is more effective. A little bit of it will go a long way. And when we design this formulation, we really try to stay on the lower concentration because we don't want to overexpose your skin and increase the possibility of a side reaction like in redness or erythema, etc. Now, if you feel your skin is tolerating it and your skin really likes it, you can put maybe a little bit more, but I really don't recommend it because whatever is on the direction of the product, that's what we calculated it, and we know that is the right amount for your skin. And if you use it in conjunction with some other products like Matrixyl, it's going to really enhance the benefit of those other ingredients as well.
I like using the exosomes right after it. I like putting it. So you take the spicule. So this spicule syrup that we created. So this has diamond powder. So you're getting a diamond peel. You're getting the spicule itself, which is this hydrolyzed sponge. You're also getting perfection peptide, the synchronizer in there as well. So what I like to do is I like to put it on the skin. And we're saying 1 to 2 times a week, okay? The reason is you want to give it about 72 hours in between treatment. You may or may not feel the spicules on your skin. I feel them, but I have a lot of people tell me that they don't feel them. Doesn't mean it's not working. It just means that you're not as sensitized or dialed in, probably. You know, everybody's got a different level of perception for these, for the spicules. But you may feel it the next day. You may feel it up to an hour later. In essence, these are going to make their way in, creating this micro trauma or micro, oh, there it is. Oh, I love live stuff. Micro trauma and the micro channels. This helps 2 ways: exfoliation. It's also going to help with the penetration. You will notice too that I find with sebaceous filaments, clogged pores, it's excellent. It's excellent for sensitive skin. It's excellent for skin who, if you want a little bit of a boost to your skin, it's really, really good to have that. So let's go through some questions. Can you use serums and creams over it? So we have a little chart here. And what layering in the routine, using it the next day, using it after 24 hours or 48 to 72 hours. So we have, for example, retinoids, layering it in the same routine. I wouldn't.
It's too much.
It's a little too much. I would separate it. So a spicule day is not a retinoid day.
Right.
Pretty much. Okay. Maybe the next day, depending on your skin type, but maybe I'd wait even a day after that just to be safe.
Right.
Yeah.
Look, think of mechanisms, okay? When it comes to selecting what products you use together, if the same products use the exact same mechanism or fall in the same direction, then they may accentuate each other's effects. So retinoids they cause excessive shedding as well. So this thing is going to increase your shedding. So combining it together, it may be a little bit too much for the skin. That's why we say it's not that the retinol is going to react with the spicules. No, it's because you're causing shedding, and then the other one is causing shedding, and then that together may just be too much.
I personally would suggest that once you put a spicule on, and I think you put on at nighttime, I would put something like a treatment over top. I would put glutathione, exosome, a niacinamide. You can even put a vitamin C, put a collagen peptide like matrixyl 4. Absolutely. I would say use your spicule, right? And then put something either antioxidant or nourishing on it, right? Especially that night. The next morning when you wake up, people are asking, you're saying don't wash it off. You don't wash it off, but in the next morning, you can take a shower, you can cleanse your skin. You've given it 6 to 8 hours to penetrate your skin, right? You're giving it time to do what it needs to do. After that next day or the day after that, absolutely you can use your AHAs, your BHAs, your retinoids. But I'm thinking like this, if you put a spicule on, and then you put a glycolic acid over top, how do you, or a toner with glycolics or anything, you're putting it in and taking it out. You could be doing that. I mean, you have to think about what you're putting on top. You want to leave it on. You don't want to stimulate more exfoliation because you want it to go one direction and all of a sudden you're going to make it go the other direction, right? Yeah. So you've got to give it 6 to 8 hours to let it do its thing.
Make your skincare work for you.
Yes.
For the maximum amount of the money you're spending. Okay. So if you're using a retinoids or some other, say, enzyme exfoliation or other exfoliation like that, keep those for a later time. Let this mechanism do its job. You don't need to overcompensate it. It's doing its job. And then when the treatment is over, then let those products go to work for you. Then you're going to get more results for the money that you have spent for a longer period of time, and your skin is going to thank you for it as well.
Right, because when you put something in your skin, you want it to go one direction, right, not back, right? Okay, so here we go. This is a very quick one, right? So this is a quick presentation on the spicules. Okay. Spicules,
quick but potent.
Quick, always. Spicules versus enzyme versus microderm kit. Difference between the three.
Well, look, it's self-explanatory. The mechanisms are different, okay? Spicules are more mechanical, same as microdermabrasion. But microdermabrasion, in my opinion, when it comes, the screen got smaller sometimes.
It did.
Oops, sorry. Let's make it a little bit the right size.
There we go.
Okay. Now let's go back to the diagram.
The other way?
There. Okay, look. When you're using microderm, depending on the machine you're using, or if it's just using your hands with the microdermabrasion ingredients, you're really going on the very, very, very top. You're smoothing this very, very top. Spicules go a little bit deeper, but it's more mechanical. When you're using enzymatic goes way between. It's more microscopic. Okay, it's much more microscopic because you're talking about the molecular level, because enzymes go between these layers and they loosen up the cohesion between the cells. And once you're loosening up the cohesion, is like then they're going to separate and they're going to shed off easier. Okay, spicules are more mechanical, but it's much more deeper, in my opinion, than just a simple microdermabrasion. So that's what the difference is.
Okay. So can I use it more than once a week if I have congested pores?
Well,
I would say give it 72 hours in between.
I say yes and no, because a person can have a very thin skin and compromised thin skin, and they still have some of the pores congested, okay? So you need to pay attention. If your skin is on the thicker side and you're a little bit older, I say maybe. But really the best answer is listen to your skin.
Always.
Use it and see how your skin is reacting. And then try to reduce the frequency a little bit, not by much, just by a little bit. And then see if your skin likes it. And then if your skin likes it and there's no reaction, there's no redness, there's no erythema, why not do it? But if your skin tells you, no, 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 I don't like it, by getting a little bit red, by getting a little bit too itchy, anything that is not comfortable, then your skin is telling you, don't do it.
All right. If you're using products from the Simple Science line, how would I incorporate Spicules and the exosome treatment into my routine? I would just do it as a nighttime treatment. I would just do the Simple Science, cleanse your skin, put your Spicules on, put your exosomes on, put your moisturizer on, have a nice evening. I would just leave it that simple. And then I would think about anything else in the Simple Science line the next morning or the next night. I would not do it that night of treatment.
One thing I think we need to emphasize here, okay? Remember, if you were, say, hypothetically doing microneedling on your face, and say you have gone through all the disinfecting procedures for these microneedling, the rollers, etc., etc., would you do that on a skin that is not cleansed? No, okay? So make sure before using the spicules, your skin is cleansed and rinsed properly. Do not use spicules. It's not a good practice when you have your makeup on or you've gone through a long day without properly cleansing your skin using the spicules. Mm-hmm. So proper cleansing before use is a must. Do not forget that.
Always. And you know, when you're doing a microneedling, if you are getting it professionally done, even if you're doing it at home, which I think, again, brave and really unnecessary, but any kind of this trauma to your skin, once you have a treatment done like that, they put on a serum, a cream on you, and then they tell you to just hydrate, moisturize, hydrate, protect your skin. They tell you to stay away from actives, especially acids and retinoids. So you would do the same thing with this kind of treatment. It's just really simple, right? Give your skin, give yourself a couple of days, right? So that's important. Can you use serum and cream over it? Absolutely, because it does the microchannels in your skin. It's recommended to use a hydrating serum after that. For a small bottle, I was wondering how many applications are available. I'm doing my face, neck, chest, and hands. There's about 10 treatments in the bottle. It could be 15, but there's about 10 treatments in the bottle. One pump is pretty much a treatment, right? But you have to be realistic, right? So if I'm taking this and I'm doing one pump, I can feel, all right, I can feel it, right? But I may want to do this a little bit more, not a full pump for the forehead, maybe concentrate on my nose, and definitely I would take it down to my neck, right? So we're saying 10 to 15 treatments. How big is your treatment area, right? You've got to think about that. But this is going to give you a lot of treatments. If you want to do it on your hands, neck, face, I would get a couple of them, especially if you want to be able to do them regularly, once a week, twice a week. That's how I would recommend it. It feels, I'm so glad I did that. All right. What's different about this microderm? What is it different from the Pro Peel Skin Renewing? So our microderm Pro Peel is alpha and beta hydroxy serum with a mechanical exfoliant,
right?
The polish.
So look, we are talking about a chemical peel with a soft, gentle exfoliant for a top rather than something that's just going in different angles, okay? This is a little bit faster, but it's not at more of the microderm peel can go into a molecular level because it's just the interaction, chemical interaction between the different skin layers of the skin and the cells in the skin. This one is, they're all complementary, okay? They don't compete with each other. They're very complementary.
All right, this one is controversial. I love this one. A good question. Some dermatologists say hydrolyzed sponge is not safe. Is you have music? Ta-da! Not safe. There is no research showing how it leaves the skin and can be a problem in later life.
All right. Well, the same dermatologists are doing threading.
Right. But this is a temporary. Spicules are temporary.
They stick
no, they're
wires
also
into your face.
Well, the threads with the barbs,
Right.
barbs, and they stick. But
look. I look at it this way. And before we started even thinking about launching a product, we looked at all the different angles, okay? How far it's penetrating into the skin, what is the composition of the ingredient, how well it's purified, how clean it is, and how those ingredients that are made of interact with your skin. So I showed you, we're talking about ingredients that are made of, spicules that are made of calcium carbonate, magnesium carbonate, silicone, and then they have micronutrients in it that are manganese, strontium. These are all natural ingredients that are good for your skin. Mm-hmm. There's some natural ingredients that, poison ivy is natural too. But I'm talking about natural ingredients that are actually beneficial to skin. In the past, we had different types of the forms of these manganese and things like that. But we are adding it into the fermented version of it. We're adding it to the formulations because we know it's good for your skin. So in that sense, I look at it this way: if an ingredient is inert enough with micronutrients that can be beneficial for the skin, and then it will leave your skin in a matter of 21 days completely, I would not necessarily get concerned about the safety of it in terms of accumulation in the skin.
It is temporary. It stays within the skin. It's gone out of the skin, usually within the 72 hours. So there's really no issue with it. I think there's just, I would like to see a study where it says it doesn't leave the skin. Never mind. Okay. So now I'm going to, am I going to feel it on my face for 72 hours? No. You may not. It all depends on the dosage and the sensitivity of your skin, right? So if you have pretty tough skin, I have kind of sensitive skin. I feel it I'm feeling it right now. I'm feeling it. It feels excited, maybe a little prickly, okay? But not burning, not irritating. But I will tell you that in an hour or so, I won't feel it anymore. I may or may not feel a little bit tomorrow or in the day if I'm touching my skin at a particular spot. But it's almost like, oh, I have that. It's not like something that's going to be a continuous feel. But that does depend on how much you've used, how much you've layered it in.
Right. And look at her skin. There's no sign of redness at all. Nothing. And she can react to products very easily.
I do.
Not right.
We do in the laboratory. So there are a lot of times we get suppliers come in, other, pharma houses or whatever come in, and they have really like groovy ingredients. And they'll say, this ingredient does this on the skin and this ingredient does this. It's everybody tests it and everything. And Darius will be like, hang on a sec. Calls me in and they literally put it on my skin and it does what? The absolute opposite of what it's supposed to do.
Yeah, it's look, we have a lot of comfort in this product, confidence in it, and otherwise we wouldn't have launched it.
I love it. I think it's so cool.
I cannot tell you all spicule formulations are the same. Concentration matters. Too much of it is not good. Overloading it is not good. There is a safety range in terms of the concentration, in my opinion, in terms of how it will react with your skin. And how much you use, you have to be very considerate of that. So with everything else, you take a bottle of vitamins, and if you take it too much, then it's not good.
I think people they get so excited with skincare, right? And they're just you're trying to do the right thing. You're trying to use it the right way, but more is not better. And give it some time. Should I wash it off after a few minutes? No. You do not wash your spicules off. You put it on, you leave it on. You want to leave it on several hours, ideally overnight. And overnight to me means like from 6 to 8 hours. That's to me is an overnight.
Look, in my opinion, if you wash it off, if you wash your skin after half an hour, a good percentage of those spicules have gone in. Okay, a good percentage. But to get the maximum results, it's better not to wash your face. In my opinion, 2 to 3 hours. Manuela is being conservative, but I think in 2 to 3 hours, you're getting the maximum number of those spicules penetrating your skin and staying on the top layer and just allowing the other ingredients penetrate better, or just start the microexfoliation process in your skin.
And the other one is they're asking about shelf life. So Isomers Laboratory, we're a manufacturer. We make skincare.
Mhm.
Right behind this wall, right behind us right now, people are making skincare. They're filling up little bottles and everything. They're doing this as we speak. So usually in the industry, the shelf life is 2 years. We usually say 3 years. But I just want to verify with the spicules, are we saying the same thing?
Absolutely. Look, the spicules themselves, they don't go bad. Look at magnesium carbonate, calcium carbonate, and silicone. They are very shelf stable.
How long does a sponge last?
Right. However, the rest of the formulation you need to be considerate with. And the one thing that we were very thoughtful, we did not make it in a jar, so you don't keep putting your finger in it, because that is where majority of the times product go bad, because you are not careful with the hygiene of your fingers. You think they're clean, but they're not clean. You may have washed it an hour before, and then you stick your finger in there. And then you're constantly introducing bacteria into the cream, and then the cream will eventually cave in. The preservatives in there will eventually fall apart because you're introducing too much bacteria into the cream. With this, you don't have that problem. So
it's
2 to
airless
3 years,
container.
you will not have a problem. Definitely the spicules will not go bad in it. So it's not something like even the product is good, but the number of spicules in there will be
Any
less or
questions?
something like that.
Yeah. In order to get them to penetrate, do you need to do a little bit of a massage to the skin, or will they penetrate on their own?
They penetrate on their own. You just
They're small.
apply it gently on your skin like you do it with any other cream.
Serum or cream.
You don't need to excessively massage it or anything like that. They're very skin friendly and they like to poke in. So and they're not that long and they're not that thick. So it's very safe.
Very pleasant. Any other questions?
Since the spicules only penetrate the epidermis, and the epidermis is renewing, shedding every 21 to 28 days, I think the spicules would exit the skin along with the shedding skin cells, right?
Or that or before. Absolutely. Yes. So it's not something that's going to penetrate. It's not going to go through your skin and into your system and into your bloodstream. It's not, it's not the torpedo mission here. This is something that's on the skin surface. Next, they're looking at some questions. So put down your questions, do your likes, your hearts, your diamonds, your stars, your moons, like, share, and subscribe. Yes.
Do you apply Matrixyl serum over the spicules?
Yes. I would. I do.
What ingredients can't you use with the spicules?
Well, we talked about not to use the retinoids, AHAs, and BHAs right after it, only because we want to manage irritation. Right? You don't want to introduce something that's going to either draw the spicules back out and or irritate the skin further.
Any type of a formulation or an ingredient that is designed for shedding of the skin, renewing of the skin, and exfoliation, when you're using it in conjunction with spicules, you need to pay careful attention to it, because you don't want to overdo the same thing.
You're not using spicules 2-3 times a day and every day in a row, right? So for one skincare routine, once or twice a week, you're going to do your spicule, then your serum and your cream. That's it. Don't overthink. Do I also need this? No, make it simple that one day. Maybe it's the Sunday night and a Thursday night. That's it. That's when you're going to put your spicule on, you cleanse, put your spicule, put your cream on, leave it alone.
Yeah.
If 6 hours later, you're like, I really need to put all these other things on my skin, go ahead, do it. But just keep it, I think people try to do too much. They get excited, and I understand. You want it to work even more, even better. You're saying, I want to give myself more results. But sometimes the space, the time will give you the better results than too much confusion.
More is not necessarily
Not
better.
always better. Any more questions? We are good.
All right.
Thank you so much for tuning in. We really enjoy this. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. We are back. We'll do one next week.
Yes.
Do we have a topic for next week? Comment below.
Yeah.
This is what we're being told. Comment below.
What you want us to talk about next week?
We will talk
We want
about-
to hear about that. We
Yeah.
want to know what you like to learn about. What are your wishes? What products you want us to design?
We are-
What you can't find out there.
Yes.
We want to hear from you.
Thanks again for tuning in. See you next week at the same time, noon Eastern. Isomers TV, as always. Bye.
Bye.